Today I'm sharing with you the top 6 mistakes that my clients make around food. And don't worry, I'm gonna make sure that I tell you what you should do instead. Woo! Hello my honeys, it's Emmie. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program. To learn how you can work with me inside of the Slim on Starch program, as well as your own personal mindset coach and nutrition coach, go to healthyemmie.org or just click the link in the down bar. Also make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified every Wednesday and Saturday when I upload a new video. Mistake number 1 is counting calories. This is a rabbit hole in and of itself. I mean, calorie counts and nutrition labels didn't even exist until the 90s. Food didn't have nutrition labels on it. What do you think people did before then? Was everybody obese? No. In fact, the more and more we label food and the more we learn about food and what's in it and we place numbers on it, the more and more overweight and unhealthy people become. So why do we think that placing these numbers on food is going to help us when the correlation shows the exact opposite? It's logical, but as humans, we don't like things that are elusive. We like things that make sense. We like to slap numbers on things. We like yes, no, good, bad, in, out. And by slapping numbers on food, we get exactly that, but it is not serving us. In fact, if you take 2 things of rice at the store, you'll find that one thing of rice has a serving size of 1/4 of a cup and it has 150 calories, and then another thing of rice has a serving size of 1/4 of a cup and it says 200 calories. So which is right? It doesn't matter, because counting calories is going to actually sabotage your goals. What we do instead with my clients is, instead of relying on any external cues to tell you how much to eat, to rely on internal cues, i.e. turning into your body's hunger fullness cues. These are the internal cues that should tell you when to eat and how much is good for your body. If you're relying on external cues, you'll never find success. And if you do find success, it'll be through willpower, relying on external cues, and it'll be exhausting, because everything that you do will not be a product of what you intuitively believe is right, but what some number, some clock, some calorie count, or some serving size is telling you. But I want you to take back your control so that you are in the driver's seat. You are in control of what you're eating, and you are 100% confident that the amount that you're eating and the time that you're eating is exactly what your body needs in that moment. The reality is that the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything, and your relationship with food is a reflection of how everything else is going in your life. And so if you are able to intuitively have a relationship with food that you feel confident in and that you feel really authentic in, you feel aligned, you feel good about it, that ripple effect is going to go into every other part of your life. If your relationship with food is great and it's healthy and you feel super confident in it, you're gonna start to feel really confident at work. You're gonna feel confident in your relationships with others, with your significant other, with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family. It's gonna flow into every other part of your life. And I don't want you to rob yourself of that. By counting calories and relying on external cues, that's telling your brain that there's no trust here between the mind-body connection, and that you cannot be trusted because your intuition is something that's going to lead you astray. And if your brain believes that your intuition leads you astray because you're counting calories and relying on external cues to tell you what to do, that's going to bleed into every other part of your life. Take your control back. Counting calories is not a reflection of intuition. It's a reflection of the fact that your intuition would lead you astray, and you need external cues to tell you when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat. So let's take power back and have you listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues instead of listening to a calorie count. And I will say, because it is relevant, a lot of my clients report that they can't listen to their hunger fullness cues. They don't know how, they don't know what their hunger fullness cues are telling them. This is very, very common. And this is why one of the things that I do with my clients is dedicate an entire module to relearning your hunger fullness cues. I did just want to mention that because many people can't read theirs. That is not abnormal, and it's sad that it's not abnormal. It's quite common actually, and I wish that it wasn't so common, but it is, and there is an answer. We can relearn them and then learn how to honor them. The number 2 mistake that I see my clients make is intermittent fasting. I have another video about intermittent fasting where I talk about why I'm not a big fan of recommending it to clients, because once again, this is taking the power away from you and it's placing the power on an external cue, which is the clock. And it's gonna get you further and further away from being able to honor your body's hunger fullness cues. Here's what the world of intermittent fasting starts as. Oh, I feel hungry, but it's not time for me to eat yet, so I'm not gonna feel hungry. Oh, yay, it's time for me to eat. Cool, awesome. I can intermittent fast, this is going well. Time starts to go on. You don't even start to feel hungry anymore when it's outside of your window, because your body, who's been sending you hunger fullness cues outside of your window, doesn't get responded to. And if your body's not getting responded to, your body's gonna stop knocking. And so hunger fullness cues start to go away. And what tends to happen is, because your hunger fullness cues have gone away, this means that your body believes that it is in a state of famine, and it's not going to send you hunger fullness cues because it believes that there's no food in the environment, because it's been asking for food, it hasn't been getting food, so it's turned off hunger fullness cues. What this means is that once your intermittent fasting window opens and you start eating, your brain says, finally, the food is here, it's time to eat. And what happens? You start eating and then you can't stop eating. Now you're getting hungrier as you do eat, because your body has been hungry this whole time, but it hasn't been sending you hunger fullness cues. So all of the hunger that you've had that you haven't been getting signals about has now caught up because the floodgates have opened. I don't recommend intermittent fasting for this reason. I'll have people that come to me. I'm just like shooting it straight. I feel lately on my channel, I've just been saying this is exactly what happens when people come to me, and I'm just shooting it straight with you guys. I have people come to me and say, but Emmie, I'm a natural intermittent faster. And what I have to say back to that is, no, you're not. Because it feels natural to you now, but that's because your body has stopped sending you hunger cues outside of your window. So people say, oh, I just naturally don't get hungry in the morning. Oh, and I'm an intermittent faster, it feels normal for me. But that's because you've trained your body to no longer send you hunger cues in the morning, even though you probably are hungry. Getting a hunger cue and feeling a hunger cue requires energy. It requires calories for that signal to be sent to your brain that you're hungry. And if your body is not getting food and it's asking for food, and it's spending calories asking for food and then not getting it, it's gonna stop asking for food and it's gonna stop burning calories on that. And if you're not burning calories on that, that means that your metabolism has slowed down. So if you're not getting hungry, that's a signal and a sign of a slowed metabolism. And something else that I tell my clients is that healthy people get hungry. And the feeling of hunger is something that is reserved for the healthy. People that are very sick do not get hungry. And I'm not saying that you're sick if you're intermittent fasting and you're not experiencing hunger, nor am I saying that you're not healthy. What I am saying though is that once you reawaken your hunger fullness cues, that's your body telling you that it is moving back into a healthy state and that it feels safe again. If you feel fear around being hungry, if you prefer to not be hungry, I want to dig into that more with you, because there's more there than meets the eye. People will also say, I work in the morning, I take care of my kids in the morning, it's just easier for me to not think about food. Something about that doesn't sit well with me, and that's something that I want to investigate with you, because food isn't something we're supposed to really think about. This is like saying I don't like to use the bathroom in the morning because I'm taking care of my kids, I'm working, and I just don't want to think about using the bathroom. That would sound odd to you, wouldn't it? But when we say this about food, it doesn't sound odd because so many people engage in this type of behavior. So that's something, there's a lot there for us to talk about. And so that would be something we would want to work one-on-one with. But at the very least, if you are just watching this video, I want you to start to consider, why is it? What am I fooling myself here with? What emotion comes up when I do eat outside of my window that I'm trying to avoid by not eating? So that's my question for you. what emotion comes up when I'm eating outside of my intermittent fasting window that I'm trying to avoid. And then the third food mistake that my clients make is they focus on vegan versus whole foods plant-based. This usually happens with the clients that are new to a plant-based lifestyle. They're very fixated on the fact that it's vegan and they're seeking out vegan products. But whole foods plant-based and vegan are two totally separate things. And vegan is just the absence of animal products, and that's talking about packaged foods, packaged ice cream, vegan milks, vegan cheeses, vegan yogurts, all that stuff, vegan dressings. Those things are usually very high in calories and fat and salt. It's not healthy food. But whole foods plant-based is based on whole, real foods. Your grandmother would know what they are. Rice, potatoes, beans, fruits, vegetables, legumes, lentils, things that are real whole food that doesn't require a label. If you ask yourself, is this vegan? It's probably something that you shouldn't eat if you are looking to develop a whole foods plant-based diet. Plant-based food doesn't need a label. You don't have to ask if it's plant-based. That's the test that you need to do. So if you ask, is this okay to eat? If you're even asking that, the answer is probably, it's probably something that we don't want to be eating on a whole foods plant-based diet. Make sure you're subscribed for part 2, where I go over the next 3 mistakes that I see my clients make. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video. Woo!